Thomas Edison, 1,000 failures, one light. Imagine a quiet room at night. The curtains are drawn, the streets outside are dark, and a single hand reaches for the switch. With one click, the space is filled with warm light. For us today, it feels so ordinary that we hardly notice. Yet this simple moment is the result of countless failures, sleepless nights, and one man's relentless decision to never give up. His name was Thomas Edison. And before his invention of the practical light bulb, there were not just a handful of mistakes, but thousands of experiments that did not work as planned. Welcome to Learn English Listening, where stories of courage and resilience are told to help you grow in both language and life. My name is Lydia, and together we will walk through the story of Thomas Edison, not only to hear about his path from failure to light, but also to uncover how his persistence can teach us something about our own struggles. Edison's life reminds us of a truth that often hides in plain sight. What looks like an overnight success usually carries years of unseen trial and error. He was not celebrated for failing once or twice. He was remembered for pushing through failure after failure until the light finally stayed on. And so, as we begin this journey, let me ask you something. What part of the world are you in as you hear this story? Are you sitting at your desk in the morning light, or perhaps listening on your phone as the evening sets in? Wherever you are, I want you to imagine the darkness of a world without Edison's light, and then picture the courage it must have taken to keep going when all others might have stopped. Because this is not just Edison's story, it might just be yours too. In the late 19th century, Thomas Edison was no stranger to failure. His laboratory in Menlo Park often looked like a battlefield of broken wires, burnt filaments, and scattered notebooks filled with calculations that went nowhere. Newspapers mocked him. Fellow scientists doubted him. Some investors pulled out, saying he was wasting time on a dream that would never work. But what made Edison remarkable was not the glow of the light bulb itself, but the glow of determination in his character. He often said he had not failed, but had found thousands of ways that did not work. To most, that would have been reason enough to quit. Yet to Edison, every setback was simply an invitation to keep moving forward. Now think about your own life. If you are between the ages of 25 and 40, chances are you are carrying invisible weights, the pressure to build a stable career, the challenge of paying bills while still dreaming of something greater, the constant comparison to friends who seem to be moving faster, higher, further. You scroll through social media and see highlight reels of success, while behind the screen, you wrestle with doubts no one else sees. Edison's reflection on failure speaks directly to us. The road to success is not paved with victories alone. It is paved with the courage to keep showing up, even when the world whispers that you should stop. His story reminds us that progress is not measured by how few mistakes you make, but by how willing you are to learn from them. So let me ask you, do you sometimes feel like life is moving faster than you can catch up? That everyone else is racing ahead while you are still figuring things out? Edison once stood in that same place of doubt, but he kept going, step by step, experiment by experiment. And maybe the lesson here is that we are not behind. We are simply still in the middle of our own experiments. If you peel back the mystery of Edison's success, you discover that his secret was not luck or even genius. It was his mindset. While others looked at failure as proof of weakness, Edison treated failure as information. Each experiment that fizzled out was not the end, but a clue, pointing him closer to what might work next. This is where we uncover the hidden key. the shift in how you see mistakes. Think of failure not as a wall, but as a doorway. Edison did not fear testing a new idea because he knew that every result, even a bad one, was progress. He often repeated what has become one of the most quoted truths in history: failure is success in progress. Let's say it slowly together. Failure is success in progress. In simple English, it means every failed attempt is not wasted. It is a step forward towards something better. Another word at the heart of Edison's story is experiment. An experiment is a trial, a test, a chance to see what works. Edison's whole life was one giant experiment, and so is yours. Every time you try a new skill, practice your English, or test a new habit, you are experimenting. Some attempts will work, some will not, but all are valuable. And the third phrase is keep trying. It may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful instructions you will ever hear. To keep trying means to stand up again, to press forward, to refuse to let yesterday's mistake define today's effort. Edison kept trying not 10 times, not 100 times, but literally thousands of times, until light filled the darkness. When you join these three ideas, failure is success in progress. Experiment, keep trying. You find a compass for your own journey. Learning English, building a career, raising a family, or chasing a dream all require this mindset. So the hidden key is this: you do not need to fear failure. You only need to treat it as proof that you are still moving, still learning, still alive in the process. Picture the night when the final experiment worked. The laboratory in Menlo Park was filled with silence as Edison and his team watched the filament glow, not for seconds, but for hours. What had once been darkness slowly gave way to steady, lasting light. Imagine the excitement in that room, the cheers, the relief, the sense that history itself was being rewritten. For years, Edison had been told it was impossible. He had endured laughter, criticism, and financial risk. But in that moment, all the mockery faded. What remained was proof that persistence can turn ridicule into respect. That single bulb was not just a scientific invention. It was a symbol that human determination can literally light up the world. Now think about your own story. We may not all invent something that changes the course of history, but each of us has a light bulb moment waiting. It could be mastering English after years of practice, landing a job you once thought out of reach, or building a small dream that others doubted. The climax of Edison's journey reminds us that our own turning points often arrive just after we feel like giving up. Let me pause here to ask you, what's a new practice you've always wanted to start but never did? It could be reading 1 page a day, walking 10 minutes each morning, or speaking English out loud without fear. Edison's story whispers that now is the time to begin, because one small act repeated over and over can lead to transformation. The glow of that first bulb was more than light. It was hope. And hope has the power to chase away not only the darkness of a room, but also the darkness of doubt in our minds. Edison's victory was not just his own. It became a gift to the whole world. When we look back at Edison's story, it is tempting to focus only on the final glow of the bulb. Yet the real treasure lies in how he reframed failure. Instead of treating each broken filament as a defeat, he treated it like a seed planted in the soil. A seed must break apart before it grows into something new. In the same way, our disappointments may simply be the breaking open of possibilities we cannot yet see. Think of your own struggles. Perhaps you tried to learn a new language and stumbled. Perhaps you applied for jobs and faced rejection. Each of these moments can feel like the end, but Edison teaches us to reframe them as part of the process. The storm does not destroy the tree. It deepens the roots. And sometimes the rain that soaks us is the very water that makes us grow. This healing perspective allows us to carry lighter hearts. Instead of replaying mistakes as proof of failure, we can view them as evidence of courage. Every attempt means you dared to try, and that alone is victory. Edison's thousands of so-called failures were, in truth, thousands of victories of courage. So the next time you stumble, remember the garden. The seed that breaks becomes a tree. The storm that roars becomes nourishment. And the broken attempt becomes the pathway to light. Edison's gift was not only the bulb in the ceiling above us. His greater gift was a way of seeing, an invitation to reframe failure as progress, to see storms as teachers, and to let brokenness lead us toward growth. Thomas Edison's light bulb did more than brighten rooms. It brightened the human spirit. His legacy reminds us that success is rarely a straight line. It is curved with wrong turns, marked with setbacks, and built on countless trials that never make the headlines. Yet through it all, he kept moving forward. And now, the story turns to you. Your life may not involve wires and filaments, but it certainly involves challenges that feel just as heavy. Perhaps you are trying to balance work and family, or maybe you are still learning English and feeling uncertain about progress. Wherever you are, you face the same question Edison faced every night in his lab. Will you stop, or will you keep going? At this moment, you stand at a crossroad. One path is comfort, staying where you are, safe but unchanged. The other path is growth, continuing to try, even when the results are uncertain. Which path will you take? If Edison could stand beside you today, he would likely whisper the same advice he lived by. Keep experimenting, keep learning, keep trying, because every small effort you make, every practice session, every step forward, might be the spark that lights up your future. If this video gave you something meaningful, share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And subscribe to keep walking with us on this journey of English and self-growth. Together, let us keep the light burning.